I did what we tell low-income students to do. As a disabled first-generation student from a low-income background, I pursued higher education. I earned a PhD. I became a professor. I accumulated $260,000 in student debt to access that American dream. My relationship to student debt is both personal and political. I'm a student debt organizer with the Debt Collective, and I've been featured on Good Morning America and even fought for student debt cancellation on Dr. Phil. I protested the One Big Beautiful Bill Act at the Capitol Rotunda and later wrote about the legislation for the journal Hammer and Hope. Which brings me to this question. Should student loan forgiveness be expanded, eliminated, or fundamentally restructured? And who should bear the cost of the college debt crisis? This question matters because how we finance higher education can determine whether people begin their careers building their future or spend decades paying for the education required to get there. My answer is that we need to fundamentally restructure the system. We need an immediate federal student loan payment pause while the current system is fixed, further student debt cancellation, and ultimately federally backed free public college for all. First, the current federal student loan repayment system needs to be fixed. According to a 2026 sign-on letter from the Debt Collective and Student Debt Crisis Center, borrowers are dealing with conflicting repayment information, servicing errors, and incomplete payment histories. A May 2026 federal court filing from the Department of Education reported more than 530,000 pending income-driven repayment applications and 88,000 pending public service loan forgiveness buyback application. Borrowers are being asked to make major financial decisions in the middle of administrative problems and conflicting information. If the government cannot reliably tell borrowers what they owe, process the applications, or maintain accurate records, borrowers should not bear the financial consequences of these failures. Here's my immediate solution. Pause the payments. And that is not an untested idea. According to Section 3513 of the CARES Act, passed by Congress in 2020, the federal government suspended payments on covered student loans, set interest at 0%, and allowed suspended months to count towards qualifying forgiveness programs like public service loan forgiveness. I know what that relief looked like personally. I was enrolled in PSLF during the COVID payment pause, and those moments counted towards my forgiveness progress. So, we already know the federal government can pause student loan payments and protect borrowers at the same time. A payment pause would give the government time to fix the current system without requiring borrowers to pay the price for its administrative failures. And during that pause, we should continue pursuing further student debt cancellation. But pausing payments only addresses the immediate crisis. If we do not change how we finance higher education, we will keep recreating the same problem for the next generation. That brings me to my long-term solution: federally backed free public college for all. According to a 2025 guide for accredited schools online, 22 countries offer tuition-free or low tuition higher education options. Their systems are different, but they demonstrate something important. Financing college primarily by placing decades of debt on the individual students is not the only model. Now, there are common counter arguments that free college is not really free, somebody still pays for it, and education policy researcher Andrew P. Kelly argued in a 2016 New York Times debate, moving the cost away from tuition means taxpayers and public budgets take on more responsibility. And we hear it all the time. You borrow it, pay it back. I paid mine. Or if you couldn't afford college, you should have gone into a trade. Trades are valuable. And yes, borrowers have responsibilities, but so does the government and the institutions administering these programs. And should access to higher education depend on whether your family was wealthy enough to pay for it? Are low-income people not allowed to dream? This question is not whether higher education costs money. The question is, who should bear that cost? But when we ask who should bear the cost, we also have to look at how our government has treated other kinds of debt. The U.S. Department of Treasury confirms that the Paycheck Protection Program, PPP, created federally backed loans that could be forgiven when borrowers met program requirements. PPP loans and student loans are not the same, but my point is that our government has already decided that debt can be forgiven when policymakers believe forgiveness serves a broader public and economic purpose. Higher education is also a public investment. So today, we have answered the question, should student loan forgiveness programs be expanded, eliminated, or fundamentally restructured? And who should bear the cost of the college debt crisis? My answer is fundamentally restructure it. Fix the system, pause the payments while we fix it, and continue fighting for full cancellation. Pause the payments now, fix the system, cancel student debt, and ultimately make public college free for all.